Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we are going to be building our pantry list view. And pantry list view basically going to list out all the pantry items that we have added or the user has added. And then they'll be able to basically select to see the details or update or add new items. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start by creating a new file. And we're going to choose SwiftUI view. In this case, we're going to name this pantry list view. And once again, I'm not going to bother to keep the previous section, and let's go ahead and import SwiftData. Okay, so now first thing we need to do is we need access to the model context. So we're going to get the access to model context through the environment property. All right. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to write a query macro, basically sorting all the items by the expiration date. And this query will be able to select all the items from the data store and list them out, make it available basically for our list to render them. So it's going to be simply add query. And we're going to provide the sort option. So sort by pantry item dot expiration date. Okay, and we're going to create a private variable for the items called of type pantry item. Okay. Excuse me. The next variable that we're going to create is going to be a state property, which is going to help us launch the insert new view. So the insert new view is basically going to act as a flag. So we're simply going to create a state variable, private var launch insert new view, and we're going to set it as false, right? Okay, so now with all the properties being set, we are ready to build out our body property. And this is going to have like a navigation stack. And this navigation stack is going to host a list view. And inside this list view, we're going to have a for each view for all the items. And since items already, or pantry item already conforms to the identifiable protocol, thank you to the model macro, we don't have to provide the ID that we are actually gonna need to identify each record on itself, because that's all taken care for us by SwiftData. Okay, so now inside the for each, we're gonna basically have a navigation link, which is going to have a value for item. So whenever user taps on the navigation link, they're gonna land on that particular item. Now, as a body or the view side for the navigation link is gonna be a v stack, which is gonna host a text and an h stack describing all the details about that particular item. Okay, so we're gonna simply create a v stack, and let's set the alignment for this v stack as leading. And for the content, we are going to have a text view, which is going to display item.name in bold letters, so font.title3.bold. And then underneath this, we're going to have an h stack. All right, so this h stack is going to have a text view, which is going to display item.quantity. And this quantity, we want to add some padding around this. So about 5 points of padding. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's add a spacer and let's add the padding for the last item, which is going to be the text view for item.display expiration date. Okay, so we're gonna add the padding here, which is gonna take effect basically taking the same space, so it's gonna make the adjustment for both of the views. Okay, now for the foreground style, we are going to also apply the white color as a foreground, and for the background, because this is basically our expiration date, we're gonna simply have item dot display expiration color. Okay, and we're gonna put this inside a capsule. Okay, so this capsule is gonna have like, there's gonna be some padding which is gonna increase the width of this view, basically affecting the entire hierarchy for the H stack, but it's also gonna have like, some breathing room between the background and the item text itself as well. Okay, now for the entire view, we're gonna set the font as the subheadline, right? And then we can actually have the navigation destination. So let's go ahead and set the navigation destination. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So right before, like, or right outside the list view, because we don't want like navigation destination to be inside some sort of like, loop. So it has to be like, close to closest possible to the navigation link, but not inside a list or for each. Okay, so let's try it here. So navigation destination is what we are interested in, and we are interested in for value, which is a hashable type, and once again our item, which is like, which is conforming to the model, already is conforming to the hashable type. So sorry, it's not item, it's pantry item dot self. So we should be able to get that value like inside the navigation destination, and we can use this value to pass it to add update pantry item with the item value. Okay, so this is the value that we're going to pass in. Essentially what this is doing, whenever user taps on the navigation link, we're gonna display the add update pantry list, and since we are passing the pantry item as a parameter, we're gonna see like, all the details being populated, and then user can make changes in that pantry item. Okay, all right, one thing that I'm gonna do right after this this video, I think we're gonna create a video to create some mock data so we can see like, what we are doing here. Okay, now continuing for like, to finish this view, we're gonna have a navigation title. There we go. And we're gonna name this app as pantry item list, or this page, and then we're gonna add a toolbar. This toolbar is going to have the content, basically hosting our leading and trailing toolbars. So later on, like, in the video, we're gonna see like, adding a little bit more functionality into the toolbar, but for now it's going to be just one item which is going to be able to help us add a new item onto the list. Okay, so this is going to be a toolbar item with the placement as top bar leading. Okay, and this is going to be a button, and let's use the overload that takes button action and the label as custom views. And we're gonna, for the label, we're gonna say it's gonna be an image, a system image plus dot circle dot fill. Okay, and let's set the font as title. For the action part of the button, we're gonna basically just toggle launch insert view. Okay, and we're gonna associate a sheet to this button, which is going to be presented whenever the launch insert new view toggle changes. Okay, so essentially whenever this becomes true, we're going to show the bottom sheet, and this is going to be a partial sheet, so we're going to actually use the presentation detent to show like, a medium sized sheet for a user to be able to add item while the pantry list itself is still in the display. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a navigation stack here. Since we are launching this particular view as a sheet, we want to have like, a navigation stack associated with the with the sheet as well. So we're gonna simply have a navigation stack, and add update pantry item will be called without passing any item. So this is the indicator that, hey, we are creating a brand new entry or pantry item list. Okay, now right outside this navigation stack, we're gonna have a presentation detent, and this presentation detent is gonna be of medium size. It's gonna be like a smaller window that's gonna pop up. Okay, so what we need to do is we need some way to visualize whatever UI that we have created so far. So I think first thing first, let's go ahead and create a mock data. So I'm going to create a new section inside our pantry item, and this is going to basically host all the mock data. So extension pantry item, and mock data is always called on the main actor, it's on the main thread. So we're going to say this is going to be, this particular computer property is going to be called on the main thread static var mock data, and this is going to simply return a model container, a mock data model container. Now we can create a model container to be used for the preview section, and that's what we are doing here. So we're going to simply create a container, let container is equal to try model container, and we're going to create the container for pantry item dot self. All right, we're going to provide the configuration, and the configuration is basically model configuration, which dictates that this particular model container only hosts values inside the memory. So there's no physical presence or real database that is created. And again, this we are creating purely to use it inside a preview section for the SwiftUI views. Okay, so under the preview macro. All right, so once we have the container created, what we're going to do is we're going to first create a date formatter. And we're simply going to set the mmdd and yyDate. So we can actually pass a date in this format and convert it into actual date format. Okay, so create an actual date object out of that. Now we are ready to insert items into the main container. We're going to reach out to the container's main context and insert a model. And this is going to be a model that is actually registered with the model container itself. So pantry item. And let's go ahead and give name as pasta. Quantity is going to be 1 lbs, and the expiration date is going to be 05/01/24. Okay, so this becomes our first entry. Now I'm going to use this, and let's go ahead and see what the issue is first. Okay, so the issue is this format is not the format for the date, so we're going to use our date formatter, and we're going to get date from the string, and this is going to get us a date object. Okay, so next item is olive oil. All right, maybe 200 ounce, 200 OZ, yeah. And the expiration 200 OZ. Okay. The expiration date, let's set it as something in the past. That way we can actually see the expired items as well. We want to check the logic of not only items being sorted based on the expiration date, but also the color coding, which actually adds up a bit of a quick clue to the user that the items have expired, so it's time to discard them. All right, next we're gonna insert one more item and just say snacks. I'll just say 1 pack, expiration, let's set something like, for the future. And there we go. We have like, 3 mock data items that are available. Now what we can do is we can go into our Pantry list view, bring back our preview macro. Okay. And as you can see, like here, the Pantry list view is ready to accept some model container. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pass the model container using the model container modifier, and this is going to be pantry item dot mock data, and we have that available. So let's go ahead and launch the canvas, and what you're going to notice is that we should get like a list of items become available to us, basically based on the data that we have just created. So I'll let this load, and then we'll see like what our UI looks like. All right, so the list is loaded, and as you can see that we have like items listed. Now there is one issue right here. I see toolbar top bar trailing is what I want this add button to be. Okay, and as you can see, we have like olive oil, pasta and snacks that we have added. Like it says will expire, and these are like expired items. If we tap on the tab add new, we can see like we can basically see the sheet with new functionality, add new functionality. So that means like all the things that we have done so far, like they are working fine. UI is looking good. Now the setup that we have done here is only applicable or scoped within this view. Okay, it's not available outside, and it's like only in the memory. So every single time when you launch, none of your data is going to be persisted because it's all in the memory. So let's go ahead and update the app file. And the app file, we're going to basically initialize the model container. Now, in order to initialize the model container, we first have to import the SwiftData framework, and then set the model container modifier for pantry item dot self. Now what this is going to do is like as soon as we launch this particular this app inside the simulator, it's going to basically create that backing data store, model context, model container, all the good things actually that we need essentially to start working with this app. Okay, start saving the data basically. Okay, so now there is a problem here, like we haven't replaced our hello world. So let's go ahead and go into the content view, and instead of hello world, I'm gonna replace this with pantry list view. Okay, let's go ahead and relaunch, and they should basically show an empty list. Okay, so let's go ahead and add an item. So we're gonna start by adding olive oil. All right, quantity is gonna be maybe 1 liter, and the expiration date maybe like it's coming up on 18th, and as you can see, our data is now persisted. Now to make sure like our data is actually being persisted inside the data store, like using SwiftData, we can actually relaunch, and there you go, like we have the data available. Now I'm going to go ahead and try updating this. I'm going to change this to 200 OZs. Okay, and also going to change the expiration date to something in the past. All right, and let's go ahead and save this. And now as you can see that we have like not only we have listed that like hey, this is the olive oil, it's actually taking all the conditional arguments, basically reflecting the right color and showing the expired date and stuff like that. All right, so we are now ready with our base app, and after this we're gonna start learning about all those features about autosave and stuff like that. So if you notice all the changes that we do, we click on save. What save does is basically it inserts the change inside the model context, but we never called model context.save essentially to save the item or persist the item in SwiftData data backing persistent layer. That all is taken care by SwiftData automatically. Okay, so those are the things that are done for us automatically, but the intent is like, to take more control over like, autosave feature by disabling the autosave feature and like, saving stuff for ourselves so we can see and explore some advanced capabilities that it actually enables us for. All right, so in the next video, we're going to start covering that. I'll see you guys there. Thank you.